Hey, what's going on, guys? It's the Lucanator. I'm bringing you some Magic the Gathering content. Recently in the past, all my videos have been about video games, but starting off now, I'm going to be doing Magic the Gathering deck techs, videos, stuff about meta, just a bunch of cool stuff on Magic the Gathering. And today we're going to be taking a look at a budget modern deck. One of my favorites, and probably the most effective budget deck, is Red Deck Wins. It's simple and it has a very, very linear game plan. So starting out with the deck, we have the most important creature in the deck. Can't really play it without him. Goblin Guide. He's a 1 mana 2/2 with haste. Whenever he attacks, defending player reveals top card of his or her library. If it's a land, that player goes to their hand. So give your opponents a little bit of an advantage if they do reveal a land, but it gives us information about what they're drawing, and it's also very, very aggressively costed at, 1 mana, and you're going to have him on the board on turn 1 or turn 2, and you'll get, maybe 2 to 6 damage out of him for 1 mana, which is very, very good. Our next creature is Mogg Fanatic. He is a 1-man 1/1, and whenever you sack him, he deals 1 damage target player creature. So he's hard to play around because if they go to remove him, you can just sacrifice him. And he's good at blocking, he's good at attacking, so he's just overall very good. He hasn't seen much play in the past, but recently he's been doing better due to the more creature type meta in Modern. Our next, it's a 3 of, so Grim Lavamancer. You can exile 2 cards from your graveyard. Grim Lavamancer deals 2 damage, target player or creature. So we're not running fetch lands because it is a budget deck, but he's still very, very useful because we fill up our graveyard with all of these cards, and he can act as a controlling thing. We don't have to waste removal spells on creatures. We can send him to the face, and he's very, very good. Once you start getting him going, he is very hard to stop. One of our best creatures is Eidolon of the Great Revels. Whenever a player casts a spell with converted mana cost 3 or less, Eidolon deals 2 damage to that player. It's almost like a standstill type effect, where when we cast spells, we're going to do damage to ourselves, but if they cast spells, even to try to remove him, they're going to be taking damage. For a burn deck, something like this is exactly what we want, because we're making our opponents 1 for 2 themselves, so they're wasting their resources as their life and their cards on 1 card, while we're getting value because we're playing 1 card and getting a removal spell out of them and doing 2 to 4 damage to them. He is a huge upgrade to the burn deck, and I think it makes this game plan even more viable. Lastly, as a creatures, we have Hellspark Elemental. This spot in the red decks has always gone back and forth between Vexian Devil or Keldon Marauders. I'm choosing Hellspark because you're getting 5 to 6 damage out of 4 mana that can be used when you need it to. He's very good, so 2 mana for a 3/1. You can unearth him for the same cost, which means you're getting 2 3/1 attackers out of 1 card. So he's very, very good. Going on to the burn spells, the deck doesn't play as many burn spells as it did in the past because we've gotten better creatures, but it's still stock full of many, many just lightning bolts. So starting out, we have the essential lightning bolt. 3 damage, target player, creature at instant speed for 1 mana. It's a great card, and Modern would not look the same without it. There's so many decks that play this card, and it kind of defines Modern as a format. Next, we have our lightning bolts number 16. What it is shard volley. As an additional cost to shard volley, we sacrifice a land, and then it's a lightning bolt. So it fuels our Grim Lavamancers also, and it's an additional lightning bolt, which is awesome. Rift Bolt is the next closest thing we have to Lightning Bolt, whereas we can pay 1 mana and suspend it, and then we can cast it for 3 on the next turn, so 3 damage target player creature. Great to line up against, again, with turn 1 Goblin Guide into turn 2, you know, Rift Bolt and Grim Lavamancer, something like that, along that line. Next is Lava Spike, most simple burn spell ever, 3 damage to the face. It can go towards Planeswalkers, which is pretty awesome to kill a Johnny Vengeant. One of the harder cards for us to deal with because of its life gain, but it's a very, very good. This is very, very good at 1 mana. Lastly, we have Skullcrack. I'm playing 3 of these in the main because my meta is full of a bunch of life gain, and this just gives me the edge, and it's very, very good. Damage can't be prevented, and they can't gain life this turn, and 3 damage for 2 mana. So aggressively costed, great card. So we have all these, and then we have 20 basic mountains. The number of mountains usually goes from 19 to 20. I always advocate 20 just because I don't like getting mana screwed or, you know, not having enough mana. Fetch lands would be nice in here, but they're definitely not necessary at all for this type of game plan. If you do have the fetch lands, great cards to add would be Searing Blaze and probably another Grim Lavamancer. So thoughts about that, and we're going to take a look at the sideboard next. Alright, to the sideboard, we have starting with Relic Progenitus. One of the best sideboard cards, can be played in any color deck. Target player, you tap it, target player exiles a card from his or her graveyard. Sorry about the blur and the shakiness doing this from a phone. Can't seem to get that in focus. There we go. And you can sack it to exile all cards from all graveyards and draw a card to replace itself. Use this against Tarmogoyf decks, living in any deck that utilizes their graveyards, even Snapcaster Mage decks. It's never dead because you can replace it, and it's a great card. Simple and to the point. We have Smelt. People play, I think it's called Shattering Remains or something like that. But this is 1 mana, instant speed, destroy target artifact. Great against Affinity and any other artifact-based strategy. Molten Rain is next on our list. These could be Blood Moons. I like Molten Rain because it does damage to them against decks that use Celestial Colonnade or decks with greedy mana bases like Zoo, stuff like that. This card's great against. Usually I take out Shard Volley for these because we want to hit our land drop so we can cast this. Flames of the Blood Hand is Skullcrack's number 5 Skullcrack number 4 and 5. Flames of the Blood Hand deals 4 damage to target player. That damage can't be prevented, and if that player would gain life this turn, that player gains no life instead. So it's very, very, very good. I've considered playing these in the main. I'm probably going to get a couple more and add them to the main. I love this card, and I'll update it after I do some changes, some more testing with it, but this card's an all-star against any type of life gain strategy. Next, we have Shrine of Burning Rage. At the beginning of your upkeep, whenever you cast a red spell, put a charge counter on Shrine of Burning Rage, and that's either when you cast a spell or at the beginning of your upkeep. So you can sacrifice it to deal damage to target player or creature equal to the number of charge counters on it. So against decks like blue-white-red Twin or blue-white-red Control mid-range, any of the slower strategy decks, even Birthing Pod, Shrine of Burning Rage is great against because you can sacrifice it after a while and just kind of surprise them with, or it'll sneak up on them how much damage they will be dealt in the next turn or two. Great card against slow-based strategies. Another one, Combust, is great against Splinter Twin decks. Deals 5 damage to target blue or white creature. That damage can't be prevented, and this card can't be countered. So it's kind of like our Abrupt Decay. It also kills Celestial Colonnade. Any white decks that are floating around, Knight of the Reliquary decks, this card's very, very good against. It kind of gives us the win against twin decks. Very, very, very important card for the red decks. Our last two are Pyroclysm and Slagstorm. These are probably going to be changed to Molten Rains or Blood Moons. They're in here just because I had a couple black-white tokens deck floating around. I need something to stop them. Slagstorm can go to the face, so it's very good in that aspect. It can do 3 damage to each player, so we do a little bit of damage to us, but it's still great. And Pyroclasm deals 2 damage to each creature for just 2 mana. It's a great card. Pyroclasm's awesome. This is the modern red deck wins on a budget. It's a great deck if you're new to modern, if you want a fun deck to play at FNM, you have some extra cash to build it, or you probably already have the cards. I advocate this deck. It is super, super aggressive. It's got a linear game plan. I'm going to post the deck list in the comments. You guys can give me suggestions on what you would change or how to make it better, what the non-budget changes would be. But this is going to be my first deck tech. If you guys have suggestions about my general videos or anything, also leave those in the comments. This is my first one, so sorry if it's a little bit rough, but this is Red Deck Wins, and thank you guys so much for watching.